Okay, let's kick things off. We all know the feeling, right? You're prepping for a big certification, maybe CISSP, CSMM, AWS, something like that.
Yeah, it's often a requirement, not really a choice.
Exactly. But the prep itself, it can be such a time sink. It feels, I don't know, scattered,
Yeah,
overwhelming sometimes.
totally. You're trying to piece everything together, juggling different books, websites, maybe some random practice questions you found online.
And you're always second guessing yourself like, am I even studying the right stuff? Is this going to be enough to actually pass? Especially that first time.
That's the classic inefficiency problem. You basically have to become your own curriculum designer, figure out what's current, what's relevant.
Hope you covered all the bases. It adds so much stress you don't need,
Right. A lot of wasted effort, a lot of anxiety.
which is exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We're going to unpack FlashGenius. It's an AI-powered platform built specifically to tackle that whole scattered, overwhelming prep process.
And the sources we looked at are pretty interesting. It's not just about the tech, although we'll get into that. The origin story is really unique.
Yeah, built by someone who wasn't even a coder. We want to understand how FlashGenius offers a smarter, maybe faster way to study, moving past those older methods.
Our goal here is to really synthesize how it works, how that AI piece changes your study game, and hopefully boosts your confidence before you walk into that exam room.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning, because the way this thing was built really tells you a lot about how it works now. It wasn't some big corporate project.
No, not at all. It actually started from a very everyday kind of frustration, parental frustration, actually.
Huh, okay.
Tell us more.
Well, the creator was watching their own daughter trying to study for the SATs, and they just saw how, repetitive and disorganized the materials were,
Static.
like flashcards just repeating the same thing over and over.
Exactly. And they realized the real issue wasn't just the content itself, but the lack of a system that could adapt. Something that could figure out, okay, you know this topic, let's move on, but you're weak here, so let's focus on this.
An adaptive guide, topic by topic.
Precisely. So the goal became build an adaptive, topic-focused flashcard tool powered by AI.
Okay, but here's the kicker. The person who built this, a year before they launched, they couldn't write a single line of code. How does that even happen?
It really speaks volumes about, well, persistence and curiosity, right? More than just having a deep tech background initially.
So what tools did they use?
They relied heavily on something called Replit. For anyone listening who hasn't used it, think of it like an online coding environment. No
Sure.
complex setup needed. You can just start building stuff right in your browser.
So super accessible for prototyping.
Very. It let them build that first, probably pretty clunky version without getting bogged down in installations and configurations.
Kind of building the plane while flying it. And I heard the AI part wasn't fully automated at first.
Oh yeah, the sources describe it as, well, messy, but necessary. They were literally using tools like ChatGPT, writing specific prompts to generate flashcard content for an SAT topic.
And then copying and pasting it into their Replit app.
Pretty much, manually inputting it. But you can imagine doing that for hundreds, maybe thousands of questions. It just wasn't scalable.
Right, that would push anyone towards automation pretty quickly.
Exactly. And that need to automate the content creation, that was the key. That's when they realized, hey, this structure, this adaptive system, it's not just for the SATs.
Ah, the light bulb moment.
Yeah. It could work perfectly for professionals studying for those big domain-heavy certifications like CISSP, CSMM, AWS, and so on.
Makes sense. And what about the technical side? What were the big lessons learned, especially working with AI without being, an AI expert from day one?
The biggest takeaway wasn't really about specific code languages. It was more about understanding the nature of AI itself. The creator apparently learned early on that, and I think this is a direct quote, AI will do weird things if you don't give it clear rules.
Huh. Yeah, I can imagine. Garbage in, garbage out, kind of.
Sort of, or just unpredictable outputs. So they realized you absolutely need standardized prompts, very clear boundaries, and importantly, a way to log what works and what doesn't. You need to track the quality.
Structure and auditing became critical from the start.
Yes, and that really forms the bedrock of the platform's quality control now.
But even with great content, if it looks terrible, nobody wants to use it. There's a story about that too, right? Involving the daughter again.
Oh yeah, crucial feedback. Apparently the daughter gave some, let's say, painfully honest feedback about how messy the initial user interface looked.
Ouch. But necessary.
Absolutely vital. It forced a complete rethink of the front end, the UI UX. It hammered home the point that even the smartest AI is useless if the platform feels clunky or frustrating to navigate.
So you need both. The smarts in the background and a clean, easy experience up front, especially for busy professionals.
Exactly. That blend is key.
Okay, so that's the origin, scrappy, iterative learning as they go. Let's shift gears now to the platform as it is today. For someone studying right now, what's the main benefit? What's the core AI advantage FlashGenius offers?
I'd say it boils down to precision and confidence. You save a lot of time because the AI guides you. It's more than just a question bank. It's like having an interactive study coach that adapts to you.
That idea of a tailored learning path sounds huge. We've all been there, right? Spending hours reading a chapter on something you actually already know pretty well.
Right. FlashGenius aims to cut that out. It assesses you, sees where you are, and then guides you step by step. The goal is that every minute you spend studying is targeted either hitting your weak spots or leveling up your understanding, not just reviewing stuff randomly.
Okay, and the platform breaks down the practice itself into different modes. I thought that was interesting. It addresses maybe different needs during the study process.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. You've got domain practice first. Think of this as like surgical studying.
Hmm.
Let's say you know you're weak in security, architecture, and engineering for the CISSP. Domain practice lets you just hammer away at that specific area until you feel confident without mixing in questions from other domains.
Got it. Laser focus.
Exactly. But then you also need to prepare for the real thing, where questions jump between topics.
Right, the context switching.
That's where mixed practice comes in. It simulates the feel of the actual exam, forcing you to quickly switch between different knowledge areas, building that mental agility and stamina.
And then the ultimate practice.
Real exam simulations. These are critical, and they have to be done under timed conditions.
Why the emphasis on timing?
Because, honestly, a lot of people fail exams not because they don't know the material, but because they run out of time or panic under pressure. Poor pacing is a killer. Practicing against the clock builds that mental toughness. It helps you figure out your pacing so you walk into the real exam feeling confident you can handle the speed.
Okay, that makes sense. But for me, where the AI seems really different is in the review part. Most platforms just tell you wrong, correct answer is C, which isn't always helpful.
Agreed. That's where the AI-powered smart review is a game changer. It's not just marking right or wrong.
So what does it do?
When you miss a question, the AI tries to figure out why you missed it based on your answer pattern. Instead of just showing the right letter, it gives you targeted explanations right away.
Like specific feedback?
Yeah. For example, I might say something like, okay, your answer B suggests you might be confusing the concepts of integrity and availability in the CIA triad. You should review section XY in the study guide, focusing on access control differences.
Wow, okay. That turns a mistake into an actual learning moment. It tells you why you were wrong and points you exactly where you need to go to fix it.
Precisely. It's like instant personalized tutoring on your errors.
That's powerful. And there was another feature using collective data, the common mistakes.
Yes. The Common Mistakes Database. This is, I think, really innovative. As thousands of people use the platform, the AI tracks the most common errors, the trickiest questions, the concepts people consistently misunderstand.
So you're basically learning from the mistakes of everyone who studied before you.
That's the idea. If 70% of users stumble on a particular nuance in a regulation, the system flags that as a potential pitfall for you.
So you can kind of preemptively study the known tricky parts.
Exactly. You get to see the landmines before you step on them yourself. It focuses your attention on the highest risk areas of the curriculum, which saves a ton of time.
All right, so we've got the AI core. Tailored paths, smart practice modes, really detailed review. But studying isn't just about the questions, right? It's also about the process, managing your time, staying focused.
Absolutely. Prepping for these certs is often a marathon, not a sprint. You're juggling work, life. The platform needs to support your productivity too.
How does FlashGenius do that?
Well, one simple but effective tool is the built-in Pomodoro Timer.
Ah, the tomato timer technique.
Yeah. For anyone unfamiliar, it's basically studying in focused 25-minute bursts, then taking a short break. It sounds simple, but it really helps fight mental fatigue and keeps you sharp during those study blocks. It promotes sustainable habits.
Good for breaking up long study sessions. And what about quick review tools?
That's where the interactive flashcards are key. They're not just static cards, you interact with them.
Yeah.
Perfect for drilling acronyms, formulas, key definitions, all that stuff you need for quick recall.
Good for using those little 5-minute gaps in the day, too.
Exactly. Waiting for a meeting, on the bus, whatever. And they've also thought about accessibility, which I think is important.
How so?
Multilingual support. Many of these certifications are global. People might be studying in English as a second or third language. The platform offers instant translation into 9 languages.
That's huge. It removes a major barrier for a lot of learners.
Definitely broadens access. And it also acts as a central hub. Study guides, cheat sheets, resources are all integrated. No more jumping between 10 different browser tabs or folders.
One-stop shop, basically. Now, I have to ask you about the gamification things like CyberWordle or security matching games. Some serious professionals might think, games for my CISSP prep.
Yeah, I get that reaction might happen. But it's about fighting monotony. Let's be honest, some technical material can be incredibly dry.
True.
Gamification makes repetitive tasks like memorizing hundreds of terms or acronyms more engaging. It turns it into a low-stakes challenge. When you're more engaged, you actually retain the information better.
So it's learning disguised as fun. Helps prevent burnout over long study periods.
That's exactly it, especially for courses that might take months.
Okay, so if we put all these pieces together, the AI coach, the practice modes, the smart review, the productivity tools, the gamification existence, how does FlashGenius really stand out from other options people might be using now, like, say, Pocket Prep?
Well, Pocket Prep is decent for basic practice questions, no doubt. Good for drilling. But it generally lacks that dynamic AI-driven learning path. It doesn't adapt to you in the same way, and the review feedback isn't as depth or targeted.
Right, it's more of a question bank.
Pretty much. And then you have other providers, maybe like Whiz Labs, which often focus heavily on providing lots of practice tests, simulating the final exam experience.
Which is useful, but maybe not the whole journey.
Right. Whiz Labs is good for that final simulation stage, but it's not really designed as an end-to-end interactive AI coaching system from the start. FlashGenius tries to bundle all of it. The AI guidance, the smart review, that common mistakes database, the games, the multi-language support. It's aiming for a more integrated, intelligent study partner.
It definitely sounds like a more modern approach to certification prep. But looking even further ahead, the sources mentioned a really ambitious goal from the creator.
Yeah.
Something about a self-sustaining AI.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, moving beyond just an AI-powered tool towards something more like an autonomous AI teacher.
Autonomous. What does that actually mean in this context? That sounds intense.
It is ambitious. The vision is for the AI system to eventually manage itself, largely without ongoing human intervention for curriculum development.
So the AI would, what? Find new certs to cover on its own.
Essentially, yes. The goal is for the AI to autonomously research trending certifications, analyze the official exam blueprints, and then use its own internal engines to generate the question banks and study materials.
Wow. And how would it ensure quality?
That's the crucial part. It would also be tasked with auditing itself, checking its own content for accuracy, topic coverage, difficulty balance, making sure it aligns with the latest syllabus for any given exam.
So it maintains its own relevance and integrity.
That's the vision. And it doesn't stop at content creation and auditing. The plan includes having the system update content based on real-time user performance data.
Learning from how students are actually doing.
Exactly. And even potentially suggesting UI improvements based on user feedback patterns or self-marketing by generating blog posts about certification topics.
So teacher, content creator, curriculum manager, marketer, all rolled into one AI system.
It's definitely a long-term, staggering goal, but it's rooted in those early lessons about just jumping in, being persistent, and leveraging the tools available.
Okay, let's bring this back home. For you, the listener, maybe staring down the barrel of a tough certification exam, what's the main takeaway from this whole deep dive into FlashGenius?
I think the fundamental lesson, inspired by the builder's own journey, is that big progress happens when you mix intense curiosity with sheer persistence, even without that deep technical background to start.
Right.
If someone could leverage accessible tools to build something like this from scratch, then you can certainly leverage a platform like this to master your chosen field. It shows there's a potentially smarter, more efficient way than the old scattered approach.
Which leads us nicely into our final provocative thought for today. If a platform like FlashGenius is evolving toward thinking for itself, constantly optimizing content, spotting weaknesses in the curriculum, adapting based on thousands of users, how does using that kind of autonomous, continuously learning system change what it even means to pass an exam? Does it shift certification from being this one-off high-stress hurdle
Yeah.
to being more like a verified starting point, a foundation that immediately sets you up for ongoing learning and career growth, built on a system that's always getting smarter alongside you? Maybe it's less about just scraping by and more about truly mastering the foundation for what